Hey, Rabbit community, it's Simon from Rabbit. If you remember, you've been with us for a while, last year when we put out the R1, we had a video, Rabbit R1 versus Humane AI Pin one-shot comparison. And so we thought, since we just launched our new product, Rabbit Intern, we go back to the scene of the crime and do another one. So we're going to compare Rabbit Intern with a bunch of other products that people have been talking about on our Discord. Let's go. Hey, Jesse.
Hey,
Good.
yeah,
Been a while since I
nice
was in
to
this
see you.
room.
Yeah, same exact setup, same location.
Same setup. You remember it.
Yeah,
So, what products are we going to compare Intern to? I know people in our Discord have been talking about like a bunch of different ones.
right. We're gonna compare everything basically. I think there's a lot of misconception, because a lot of tools are called agent these days, and the pricing are varies, wide range. So, um, and obviously, there are people who subscribe this or who use this for a while. There are some new tools coming in every other day. So I think, yeah, it's good for us to run some same prompts on all the products.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on.
Cool. So, where do we want to start?
So if you come over here and see my screen, so I actually just run a task uh, on, let me see, one, two, three, four, five different systems. Okay. And I just want to chat with you and kind of like walk you through the difference. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I still want to show this to our audience, just in a very unfiltered way, straightforward. So the test prompt I'm running is this. I'm really interested in getting involved in real estate investing, particularly in buying, renovating, reselling houses. And basically, this is an analysis kind of like a task regarding real estate in a particular area, and with a bunch of like details. Basically, I said, hey, I want to make sure I can turn a profit, reasonable time, provide me with research in an HTML website. I want to find out output to be a nice website in HTML, and blah blah blah. So this is basically the prompt, and um, um, I'm gonna show the result on Intern.
Okay.
I'm gonna save this to last. Okay. Yeah. So right off the bat, let's see how this language model works. So right now I have I this is all my account. I actually paid for every of these subscriptions just for comparison, right? So this is GPT, and they just released the GPT-03 Pro, I guess, a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
Like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So that is the best at reasoning. So assuming this is the best model right now, but understanding from product angle, this is not a system like Intern. This is still like a reasoning language model, right? So
All these products are pretty different, but I think like the good thing about doing this comparison is, people on our Discord, they're saying, oh, well, you can do this with this product or that
yeah,
product.
you should just take a seat, man. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly right. So I think these are quite different in a product positioning, right? And I think a lot of average customers, like myself included, sometimes getting confused because obviously I don't want to pay subscription for every single one.
Yeah.
So which one can do what? I need to figure out, and then so anyway, let's jump right into it. So this is the exact same prompt I copy and paste here. So it reasoned for the O3 Pro works for 30 minutes as shown here. And it says, okay, here's the result. Below it's an overview um, of what you want. And this is basically what you get. This is the full package, right? And it has this little zip file. So
it's generated a bunch of files in a zip.
well, it gives a website. I mean, don't get me wrong. It gives a website. It can do a website, but this is what it is. So as you can see, I'm gonna just put it right here.
It looks pretty bare bones.
What's that?
It looks pretty like bare bones.
Yeah, and we'll see a lot of other products are quite similar. So this is basically the O3 Pro. Oh, I think I have to manually navigate through this. So that's the index. Uh, well, this is all the because I'm not hosting this, right? So it's not like connected. I have to like, go here and check. Let's see the research page. Okay, it has some sort of numbers. That's the whole research page, I guess. And then let's go to the strategy page. Okay, so it provided a 6 months flip roadmap with numbers. Guess that's all the contents. Here's a text information here, and here's a checklist. Add a new task. Let's say, okay, make sure I clean the yard. Oh, so it's
pretty cool.
It's not a checklist. It's like a reminder,
Yeah.
right? You manually. I guess reasoning part. This is not quite accurate. But anyway, that's the ChatGPT O3.
Okay.
What's good about it is that it actually made a HTML, right? But you need to be able to host it, and you have to like manually look it up. What I don't like is the amount of the information that's there. Yes, it has a lot of numbers and data, but you will see a huge difference when even comparing with different other products. So from a customer's perspective, I mean, all these models are getting better. To the point, it comes down to who can offer a one-stop solution.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
I still pretty much use GPT on a basic like text-based question and answers, and that's what I like to use.
Yeah.
But a lot of times in real workflows, you have to like copy the content from GPT to next destination and then tweak the data here and there, or bring other data back to here. But I treat this mainly as almost like a terminal, right? So like I have some input and give me some output in text format. I'm not expecting this can do a lot of like finalized product or something that I can use right away, right? So now let's move to a more advanced one. This is OpenAI's operator.
And this is only available on their like what $200 a month?
Yeah, that's a pro tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to pay the pro tier. So again, this is the exact same prompt. But I guess this is similar to what we have on the Land Playground, right? So you can actually see here, it basically kickstarts a browser.
Oh yeah.
And it search for. I can take over this. It search for a bunch of, as you can see from here, it search for. It just put on a Microsoft Bing search. It search for this information. It goes to the next one. Search for text. And then it goes to this third-party editor, whatever. Let's finish up here. Let's resume. Let's see the results. So I think I can minimize this. Okay, so basically, it did a bunch of the browser use, and then it write an HTML code. And come on, like that's the information, right?
Yeah,
It's not even as good as O3.
And so it found a random site to like enter the HTML into, but then you couldn't download it.
No, it's even funnier than that. It says, "I've opened this blank editor, and you should copy and paste the code in it." Wow! But regardless, let's just copy and paste the code in it. So let's copy and paste the code here. It's just loading. Sorry, my bad. So I think this is a website. This is a location you want to. So it just opens like a third-party tool, right? You see, obviously there's a bunch of advertisement here and there, but I did copy it and kind of like run this code, right? So I run this code. I got a preview, and this is a website. And it's very, very similar.
Yeah,
as you can see from here, it's very similar on the context or on the layout even.
Yeah.
As if the regular O3 version. And this one thing I'm getting a little bit confused is that if I download this from this third party, it downloaded to that virtual machine.
Yeah. So
but
you don't have access to that file.
But how can I access it? How can I get this to my email? But anyway, like I think the limitations for it's quite different on the product definition, right? This is more like lamb playground.
Yeah.
You wanna go to OpenTable or Amazon, do something, like order Diet Coke. You can do that.
Yeah.
But expecting to build a full product, uh, um, especially you want the final output and the files. Obviously, this is not
not the right tool for the job.
Exactly, it's not set up for that. But then I'm questioning myself. I have to pay $200 for this.
Mm.
So let's finish it up. Let's move to the next. Next, we have Cursor.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people talk about
a lot
this
of people
in
talk
this
about
podcast.
Cursor. I gave Cursor huge props. I love Cursor. This is an amazing company. If you understand how to use it, this is really, really good tool in the market. And their target audience are very famous terms right now, web coding, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's not like dumb level web coding. Like it's good when you understand what you're doing.
But if you're someone that has absolutely zero knowledge of coding, you're not gonna.
Oh, that might be a little bit more intimidated.
Yeah.
Because it was designed for either you hook up with your existing GitHub or existing code base, and then you have this side window you can work through it, and you can just kind of like describe what you want to do. But interface wise or target audience, as clearly you can see, this is targeted to engineers.
Yeah.
At least for a certain level of like understanding of codings, I guess. But regardless, nevertheless, I run the same prompt here. I'm curious if Cursor is doing the same thing. So as you can see, the main interface are actually just it creates a bunch of like actual project files.
Yeah.
So it just gave me the terminal. In this terminal, what I like about it is that if I know how to code, I can just add it like in real time, no problem. Or I don't necessarily need to get the whole code. I can get that part of the code.
Yeah.
So this is really just perfectly designed for engineer workflow. I really like that. I think they're definitely killing it. Now, speaking from again a more broader demographics, especially for non-engineers, this is a result. So it being running successfully, and it basically generates a very basic structure or standard structure with HTML, JSON file, separate subpage, and CSS. Now I have to manually save this as separate files into a folder, which for the sake of the time, I just save it to my desktop. So these are the Cursor result, and you'll be very. This is very interesting because if you think about like the context, this versus O3 versus operator, it's about the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's all super text heavy.
Well, first of all, I would argue that this is not a lot of text. Wait until you see the next one.
Okay.
This is very tiny.
Like it's not really doing a lot of.
This is very little. This is very little information compared to what you're gonna see next.
Yeah.
Okay. But as you can see, it's about the same level as the other ones, right? Like we just featured like for example, this one.
Yeah.
Right. But this is the Cursor result. Okay. So you got home, you got strategy. There are some issues here and there, like footer and stuff, and it's a very basic like checklist. So Cursor is really good for like you build the foundation of the product, and then you tweak it, you make it look exactly like what you want.
Yeah.
And you basically bring a lot of your assets or external code or external APIs or tools to make it like into the final product. So this is quite different, right? Because if you think about ChatGPT and Operator, it's designed for average people to use. Like you just chat, right? Yeah. Cursor is like clearly designed for like if you're an engineer.
Yeah, and if you're looking to do a project that doesn't require coding, like you're not going to make a deck with it.
Exactly. Like exactly. So I think again, Cursor is an excellent product in that particular demographics.
Yeah.
But I'm not impressed by the agentic behavior on deep research, just because of the context.
Yeah.
Now let's move to the next one. We got Perplexity. I don't know what's happening. Everyone, we need to fix this.
Something wrong.
It says something went wrong. I honestly I want to give it another try.
Nothing's happening.
Wait. Uh-oh. Wait. Okay.
It started it. It did. It did start it.
It just started,
Yeah.
but I should be able to retry again, right? I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Just to be fair, let's just rerun this. One thing I like about Perplexity is how many resources trying to search through.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see from here, and um, you'll be able to see all the resources. But this is a really newly released feature from Perplexity Labs. I think they dropped it like somewhere last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this part. Like it's researching for different places. We'll come back to this later, and hopefully this one finishes.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting that it gives you a timeline, but I literally just saw it jump from 7 minutes to 6 minutes. So it's it's like when you're installing something on Windows.
I don't think this is I don't think this is accurate. But it's nice to have like a progress bar.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it just went to 5 in
Yeah.
like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I like this part. I like it marks very clearly like which information is pulling information to. But we'll see if it gives like a really good result. Now, moving to the next one, I think this is a more direct comparison with Intern, which is Manus.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of feedbacks, right? So I think they did a really good job on the interface. I like the interface, right? So I like to have this sidebar. Actually, we were inspired by this,
Yeah.
and a lot of company are doing the same structure. So I think you have kind of like this history, and then we have this main chat interface. But nevertheless, I'm running the same prompt, so it has all this, and it finished right here. Host the website, which we like.
Yep.
And I think they recently had a default prompt on if you don't specify which kind of style you want,
It'll give a default.
it gave a default, which is really nice. But immediately, what you're gonna realize is that the depth of the context, right? So if you look at what are the informations presenting here, is clearly better than what you see from Cursor or O3 on the result or operator. So this is much more information, right? And I like to have like this different areas locations. This is much more information and looks good, right? Looks good, and it has a decent amount of information, right? Let's put it that way. So tax, legal, as you can see, I think they recently adapted a default styling. That's my guess. But let's go back to the previous one, which I ran for the same prompt, except I changed the location from West Virginia to Palo Alto.
Yeah.
Exactly same prompt. What I want to show you is that it's kind of like a hit or miss. This one in particular looks drastically different, right? And market research, it got very well like presented, like a lot of data, right? If you compare it to, per se, this this website.
Yeah.
Right. So I like the depth of the Perplexity. But the reason I said it's a hit or miss because I run the exact same prompt, Palo Alto on this one. Now, on this one,
the images are broken.
yeah, all the assets are just gone.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, and but still, it got a very good like content wise.
Yeah.
So that's why I said this is a more direct comparison, this versus Intern. And now let's go back here. Oh, while we're waiting for the Perplexity, because I want to show the Intern the last.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the pricing. Or there's one thing that I think we should talk about. We should talk about pricing. First of all, for a system like Manus, like running per task is very expensive.
Yeah.
It is much more expensive than average people might thought. I think it takes somewhere around $5 per task. That's my guess.
Yeah.
But it might sound scary, but if you think about in real life, you want to find a real estate report analysis and create it into the website. System like this, Manus or Intern, takes like 20 minutes to finish.
Yeah.
In reality, how long that's gonna take for a real human to do that? and knowing that all the other two cannot do one-stop solution like Manus or Intern. So that's not a question. Um, I did some research. I think at least up here, here in the U.S., I think the average real human intern minimum wage or salary is somewhere around $15 per hour.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
And tools like this, I don't know about UK, right? Must be about the same
Probably
or less.
similar, yeah.
Yeah, but like if you think about one real intern, 50 dollars per hour, and then this is not a one guy's job. Come on, like this is a small team's job.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, one guy would just be
One guy will be
research.
just doing the research, exactly. Well, the other guy will be just finding the media assets, and there's other guy just doing the charts and all that, doing the computer math and whatever, and then there's a guy doing the programming to do the HTML. So, like, I think if you compare this to like actual labor cost, then you realize, okay, maybe $5 isn't too bad if you can get a result by just typing one prompt, and within like 20 minutes you get a result. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Now, the pricing that I have here, as you can see, so they have basically three tiers. So basic one, plus, and pro.
Yeah.
What I don't like, or I got confused, is that they have a team tier, which is good. Which I don't like, or I'm confused, is this credit system.
So $19 is 1,900 credits.
Yeah, and they're doing limited offer, so you got double, right? But it limits 2 concurrent tasks.
Yeah.
Right, and this limits two concurrent tasks. This one is a little bit better, but 5 concurrent tasks.
Yeah.
We'll get back to this later, but I'm just flagging that I feel a little bit confused because there's no way for any user to understand how much credit is going to cost per task.
Yeah, it could be any number.
It could be any number, right? I think my experience with my account average was like 500 to like 2,000. I think you run something like beyond 2,000 credits.
Yeah, I've definitely seen tasks that were above 2,000 credits.
Yeah, so
2,500 maybe.
I just don't really like this system.
So that means that if you have like say 4,000 credits in the $20 plan, and one task has taken like 2,500, basically got like 2 tasks for that.
Exactly, and I believe, I could be wrong. I believe if you start running tasks on Manus, you start charging credits.
Right.
So, what if I pause it? What if I stop it? What if this task failed? I'm just not. I'm very confused about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think while we're waiting for
something went wrong again.
Come on,
Perplexity. What's going on there?
Okay, let me at least hit this button.
Try again. How many times does it want us to click try again?
Anyway, okay. I by the way, I love Perplexity. Okay,
yeah.
They're a great partner. I love Perplexity, but Avery, we gotta fix this.
Gotta fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna text you. We need to fix this. Okay. But I think you run one successful case, and you got the screenshots.
On Perplexity?
On Perplexity.
No, I didn't run it. Somebody sent
someone else.
Someone sent me the screenshot.
Yeah, I sent a Twitter about it.
Yeah, the blackjack.
And the blackjack. Yeah, you can see the screenshot and you can understand different systems. Anyway, okay, now let's talk about Intern. Exactly same tasks. Okay, so what I like about our new interface is that it will ask clarification or follow-up questions just to make sure that from agent's perspective, in case you miss some important information you want to contribute, or in case you want some other features that Intern might thought will be helpful. Obviously, you can answer these one by one, or you can just simply say, go ahead. So for the fairness, I didn't answer any question. I just say straight up, go ahead.
Yeah.
So just to be fair. Now, what I like this new interface is that we break the task into steps.
Yeah.
And you can basically click this to what we call a red bar to see not only the code, you have all the code here, but the exact reasonings, right?
Exactly. So you have like basically 3 levels of detail if you want. You've got if you
Exactly.
don't want to see any of it, it just says task done.
Yeah.
If you want to see the basic steps, you click it once, and then if you want to see each step's detail, you click it again.
Exactly.
You get everything.
Exactly. So you can see all the code here, but plus beyond that, you can see the reasoning. You can literally understand how agent is thinking on this step.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it or you don't need it, you can just fold it.
I think it looks great.
Yeah. Now, once it's finished, you publish the result. So let's view the result.
Amazing.
You haven't even seen it. I mean, let's be fair.
I mean, I think just the first page alone.
Let's be fair.
Looks
Okay.
great.
So that's the exact same prompt. Okay. First one, what I like is this media.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't look like, for example, this.
Yeah.
And by the way, I didn't ask for make sure you include photos or whatever.
It's just same simple.
It's just better agent performance overall.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the depths of the context, I mean, this is pretty much self-explanatory. This is only the homepage. Okay. Now, let's go back to market research.
Nice. We got the graphs.
We got not only one graphs, but also a graph explainer.
Yep.
We got a bunch of graphs.
Yeah.
Right. We got a lot of media assets that's not broken.
Yep.
More graphs. Okay. Going to next investment strategy. I
I
like where you put out this kind of like flyers.
Yeah.
That it feels nicely like into this topics.
Yeah.
But just look at the depths of the context. That's why, Simon, remember like earlier I said, okay, I don't think this is a lot of context. Yeah. So Intern did an excellent job on, I guess a lot of people call it deep research.
Yeah. Also, I think just the UX of it is easy to understand. Like some of the other ones, it just looks like a wall of text.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like broken it
Exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong. You can use your prompt to change its size drastically.
Yeah.
You can make the same prompt and build it as if like a Area 51 alien theme website, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is just by default, okay? And now, text page. It gives you step-by-step text calculation. And what I really like about this is check out right here. It has a comparison.
Oh, nice.
It has a built-in calculator.
Oh, yeah.
So say if I have a property value of $1 million,
yeah,
and county tax rate, boom, here's your savings.
Nice.
It's built in nicely like into this section.
Yeah.
This is where if from my perspective, when I'm reading this, I start thinking about, what about my house? Yeah. Right? I know my house costs this much, and then I want to get an answer from here. I think it's just like all these details in the reasoning, like we have a better agent performance system than the others.
I mean, I think if you hired somebody to build this, you're looking at like
this is
a lot of money.
This is not gonna be one guy's job, and this is not gonna be cost you $5, right?
No, definitely not.
And this is not gonna be a 20 minutes result.
Absolutely.
So even on this page, this is a very good, very good example on the depths of the context, right? If you look at the checklist on here, I believe this is cursor, right?
Yeah.
And if you go to the checklist on, this is Manus,
yeah,
right? And what I like about this is that it has this explainer.
Yeah.
It has the explainer on the features.
Yeah. Progress bar.
It has a progress bar.
Yeah.
It has a color-coded like completion rate.
Yeah.
And it breaks down into phases.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not just like one massive list. It's actually done.
Right. Exactly.
And each phase has a completion state as well. I just saw that's pretty
exactly. Cool. And then there's additional resources. Okay. And what I also like, this is a very small detail. Check this out. It just redirects me.
Nice.
To the official text department.
Yep. Yep.
It has everything built in. So now let's go to Department of Commerce. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with this. It looks like a legitimate website. I don't know. Maybe just their site is down.
Maybe it's down.
Okay. But yeah, this is definitely tax.wb.gov.
Yep.
No problem. Now, what I also like is just upon finishing, you got two buttons, as simple as that.
Yeah.
We just click the view result, but you can just download result. Upon downloading, we automatically give you a zip file, and you can unzip this. That let's just extract all here. Now, not only you are getting the website, like this is like the actual website, but you're also getting the research data
Nice.
in this folder.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not only getting the website, but you're also getting all this research data. If you go to the final, you see everything is here.
Yeah.
And then I think a better workflow is you can further customize what you need from here, or even bring this to cursor, right? Because then you're dealing with like advanced programming.
Yeah, you've got a great starting point. Yeah.
But I have to say, like, if I'm just like a average guy that on this prompt, this is I'm happy, man. Like this is a good result. I got enough, more than enough information for me to make a decision on this.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about this payment system. So I just mentioned about the Manus pricing, right? So you can see from here, they have three tiers. Their most expensive one are $200, $199 per month.
Yeah.
Based on my experience, if you do the math, so this is a limited offer, so I'm gonna just exclude that, right?
Yeah.
So assuming if they have 19,000 or actually this much of credit per month.
Yeah.
And it costs anywhere between 500 to 2,000, right?
Yeah. Per project.
Per project. We'll just find somewhere in between. That's like 13 tasks per month.
Yeah. 13 projects for $200.
So even if it's 500, that's only like 39, 40 tasks.
Yeah.
For 40 tasks minimum, which is this is theoretically impossible because there's gonna be a lot of like complex tasks cost way more than that.
Yeah.
On a worst case scenario, we can do another calculation. If it's cost 2,000, 10 tasks
for $200.
For $200,
yes.
That's what you're getting, right? And if you think about this, only gave you like what $4,000. So in a good day, you're running like 6. In a bad day, you're running like 2.
Yeah. So for $39, there's a good chance that you only
Exactly. But the confusing part is there's no way for me to understand how much credit it's gonna cost,
and it's not going to tell you
beforehand.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Beforehand. So we don't like this. That's why when we were dealing with a pricing strategy, of course we understand cursor are much cheaper than this.
Yeah.
But it's a different tool, as you can see from here.
Yeah.
GPT-03 is a different tool.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Operator is as expensive as their most expensive tiers. But again, it wasn't set up for this task.
Yeah.
Manus is a more closer comparison. We want to offer better value than this. Actually, much better value than this. Not only is this better value, but we want to make the system simpler so that you don't need to figure out like, oh, credit this, credit that, how much is this cost and all that. Yeah. How can I spend money for a task if I don't even know how much it's going to cost?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right. So we want to simplify that. So here's what we have on the Rabbit intern pricing strategy. I think in a perfect day, or this is almost like common sense, I would rather to pay more for better results.
Yeah, that's logical.
Right? And if the result from the Manus is significantly better than Rabbit, I think it's fair. Well, you can see from that one example, we run 50 exact same side-by-side prompt and ask Intern to build a site to showcase.
Yeah.
You guys can probably find from Twitter that you can go there and compare each exact same prompt and compare ours Intern versus Manus.
Yep.
You'll see that our results are consistently better than any of the products that we mentioned here. I mean, to be honest, I want to see Perplexity result but it fails twice. So I don't know yet. But going back to the pricing, we want to simplify this so that we're like, okay, let's do not introduce this credit system, because once you introduce a credit system, you have to calculate. Like user have to calculate, and there's no way. It's not transparent, right? It is not transparent how much it will cost for tasks. We don't like this, so we're like, okay, let's just offer tasks. A task is a task.
Yeah.
So
And
how,
I think the other thing with the credit system as well is when people start like trying to think about it in their head, then what's going to happen is they're going to simplify what they're trying to do. So they're going to get a worse output.
right?
They don't
That's
want to
actually
use
that's
those
actually a
inputs.
great point.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like if I want something
you want to be
complex,
careful.
Yeah.
And cautious, right?
Yeah.
Which potentially can harm the result.
Yeah. Actually, as a person, you want the best result, but if you know
Right.
it's costing you more on these credit systems,
Right.
then you're going to be careful with it. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's why first thing we did is that we said, okay, let's not introduce this whole credit system. A task is the task.
Yeah.
Whether it's a simple task or it's a super complicated task, a task is a task.
Yeah. And just to clarify for the people watching what we mean by a task, that means your end stage output based on your original prompt. Any clarifying questions that it has asked you,
exactly.
It's going to ask you. It's going to get all that information. It's going to do the thing, and then when you've got your result, that is what we consider to be one task.
Exactly. So if I start a new task, right? If I start a new task, and I let it intern wrong, and I can actually stop the task.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep.
If the task is not finished or canceled in this case, or if for whatever reason task failed, means that it's not like this where the intern says, "Oh, task completed." So as long as it's not fully completed, we don't charge that task.
Yeah.
We don't take that task.
Yeah.
So
that's good, because a lot of times when I've been trying something on various services, I'll put my prompt in and it'll start doing the thing, and I'm like, oh, I should have said that I wanted this thing. I forgot to put that in the prompt or whatever, but it's already charged.
But that's a problem, because once you start running on the credit system, it starts taking credits.
Yeah.
Regardless of the end result, I guess. So that's why we basically offer for regular price, we have a promo right now, limited time offer for $100. Instead of what we see here on the Manus, let me just remind you this: $200 for this amount of credit, which we did the calculation, right? Anywhere between 7 to 15 tasks.
Yeah.
For half the price, you got 30 tasks per month.
Yeah.
And these tasks can be as complex as it can be. And if the task is not finished, we don't charge it. Right?
Yep.
Really great value. And
we're offering extra.
We're offering
as well,
free publishing and hosting.
Yeah.
At this moment, we're not setting a throttle on concurrent tasks.
Yeah.
You can run concurrent tasks.
You could technically run all 30 at the same time if you
technically if you you can. And then that's why we have another tier. It's pay as you go. I mean, we all familiar with, like when we're say 10 years ago, we buy a 1 gig data package, pay as you go, so you can top it up.
Yeah.
This is also good for people who just want to occasionally focus on one project.
Yeah.
Right. If I just have one task, one project that I need to work with, get yourself pay as you go. You're not going to charge every month, but pay as you go gets you 3 tasks as a package. That these 3 tasks never expire. For monthly packages, the 30 tasks, if you haven't used all, it resets.
Yeah.
So these tasks on a monthly subscription does not roll over. But nevertheless, this is a much easier to understand system.
Yes.
No credit, no nothing. Like task is not finished, it doesn't come.
Yeah.
And I got this fixed number of tasks that I can run as many concurrent as well I want. Right. So all these are what we learned from the other pricing system.
Yeah.
That we curated this specific one. And of course, if you are a R1 user, you have an R1 link to your rabbit hole, we'll give you free tasks.
Yeah.
And if you subscribe the either packages, we'll give you free bonuses.
Yeah.
And we're very generous about that. So this is just my comments on the pricing, because pricing is very important. Systems like this are definitely not going to be like say Spotify cost me $10 for unlimited streaming. A single task may cost like couple dollars to finish, or even like more than $10 to finish, depending on the complexity of it. So this is the good way that we set up a very good value and deal to help the rabbit sustain as a business.
Yeah.
But I also want to take a step back where, we might still argue, $100 per month for every month, that's like a really high number for software. I mean, we have operator charging for $200. We have Manus charging for $200. But even for $200 per month, let's put it that way. Even for $200 per month, you have to think about what this kind of agent can unlock you.
Yeah.
For generating the value that way beyond this. I think at the end of the day, if you take a step back, thinking from reality, like I said, the average minimum wage are somewhere around $15 per person per hour, right? And you got a human that works 8 hours per day and 5 days a week, but you have this concurrent agent running
all the time,
24/7, and not only that, the efficiency are incomparable, right? For real human, like building something like the West Virginia research, it might take days or weeks.
Yeah.
For intern, takes like 25 minutes.
And we already had someone on our Discord who said they sold something to a client that they made.
We actually have real user build their stuff on Intern and generate revenue. So this
and it probably only took 15-20 minutes.
Exactly, and this is really really good good examples that we see here. So if you think from the IRL in real life examples, and then if you go back to the case, right? It cost me $3 to do that task. What a bargain!
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
And you don't need to stay here, and you don't need to open like 20 different windows. You just have type the prompt, grab a coffee, come back in 20 minutes. You have everything you need, and also very important, you have everything you need in one package.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not like some of the more advanced tools, like you have the things here and there.
Yeah.
That you still need further tuning or put them together or whatever. So yeah, very excited to share with you, Simon, our second product, Rabbit Intern. And I want to emphasize, we kept our promises. Rabbit R1 will always be subscription free. And Rabbit Intern is our second product. Running these tasks on agent are expensive, but we learn from other people's pricing and other companies' pricing. We believe the pricing models that we have here are the most compatible pricing model that we can find, and also offers the best value.
Yeah.
Insanely good value, actually.
Yeah, I agree. And we talked about, you mentioned a little bit, we're giving bonus tasks to R1 holders. Right. I think another question that a lot of R1 owners have as well is, okay, well, we understand that Intern is a separate product. How do you plan on bringing these two things together? And I know you had a lot of thoughts on that. We've got some work going on that already. Talk a little bit about what we think we're going to do there.
I'm not going to say too much about it.
Just give them a little tease.
Just stay tuned. But one thing I can say is that you don't need an R1 to run Intern. Vice versa. But when you have both, that's going to be next level, because there's a lot of integration that we're working on at the moment. I think a lot of people love the memory experience, the memory operator real-time voice interview. One thing we want to bring to both of the system, the R1, both of the product, the R1 and the Intern, are the real-time conversation. I think we're in a position where the technology is really mature now, to the point we feel confident to offer this. On R1 is pretty self-explanatory. You don't need to hold the PTT all the time. You can set it to real-time voice mode and talk like a horror movie kind of like mode. On this, I think there's a different layer of value, because one thing I want to emphasize is that to work with general agents like this, prompting really matters.
Yes.
And I don't think anyone can self-consider us like a prompting master or genius.
No. I mean, some people will claim to.
I certainly don't consider myself good at prompting.
No, me neither.
So I actually learned a lot how to kind of like work with the prompting. But that being said, I think, I give you a good example, Simon. Like I'm a little bit on the nerdy, geeky side. When I go to Home Depot, I don't even talk to a salesperson.
No.
I know I know exactly the SKU. I go to the aisle. I know the number. And I just grab it. And
more than the staff.
And I just go auto check. Um, but then you have to think about all these agent tools are living in this such a small bubble of tech bros.
Yeah.
Or geeks. We truly believe that the intuitive level of intern are truly set this product designed for everyone.
Yeah.
My mom understands how to use it. She was doing some stock analysis and she knows how to use it because she can type.
Yeah.
But again, she's not good at prompting. That's one feedback I'm getting from my mom. And my mom said, hey, think about this. When you go to a furniture shop and then there's a salesperson, and are you gonna and salesperson says, hey, hey sir, how can I help you today? My mom said, are you gonna say that I need a walnut 27-inch walnut dining table with matching chairs that at least 6 feet high from the blah blah blah? Are you gonna talk like that? I realize what she means, right? We're not gonna do that. Most people they're not gonna do that, right? Like most people they're not gonna find an ISQ and just go there. They're going there and shopping, and that's the whole thing is the experience. So that's why I also want to bring the real time voice to the intern.
Yeah.
Because I want to relieve the duty from human needs to write the prompting.
Yeah.
Giving back to AI.
Yeah.
Because I think AI models are actually better than prompting to themselves than human do.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So, once we have this feature, and one thing I didn't mention, the memory feature is actually working on Intern too. It's a universal layer. Nice. So, if you have your memory registers through the rabbit hole, understand fully, and you'll be able to carry that. It will be actually able to carry that context in memory, all the context from memory to the intern automatically, right? So, say if you already saved what's your favorite place or what's your favorite band, you don't need to specify on your prompt. You just say, hey, do this with my favorite place or whatever.
Or your kind of aesthetic preferences.
Design preferences. Yeah, you can actually save design preferences, right? So, so memory is working here. So if we have the real-time voice, that would be super good because then we can duplicate kind of like this, almost like a natural way of getting to know exactly what you want. So
that makes sense to me because I think even when people think they know exactly what they want, they usually don't. It's usually quite fuzzy.
No,
they can sort of visualize it, but they don't know every single step to make like the perfect prompt. But the AI can do that.
Exactly. So one quick example, I was trying a very simple problem, be like, hey, build a Pong game, right?
Yeah.
Build a Pong game, and the previous version that we asked intern to start working right away. In the new version, we have this follow-up questions.
Yeah.
On the follow-up questions, the intern says, is that all you want? And do you also want to include sound effect and leaderboard? I was like, damn.
Yes. Yeah.
I forgot, right?
Yeah.
I should have told you because if I didn't tell you and you choose not to do it, that's not the result I want.
Yeah.
So with the real-time voice, I think we're gonna do. I can rehearse this with you, right? So treat me like an intern, right? So instead of you have to figure out all these text messages and in prompt beforehand, you just simply turn on the button, the listening button or whatever. So you turn it on. I'm like, hi Simon, what's up?
Hi Jesse. I would like today to build a 30-day content marketing plan for the release of a new song on my record label.
Right. You don't even need to say that, right? You can just say, hey, I want to build a thing. And then on several conversations, I slowly understand more about exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And then I can ask you in real time, oh, do you also want to cover this or that?
Yeah.
To the point, after like quick 5-6 conversations, which takes probably less than 10 seconds, the intern will be like, okay, Simon, I think I know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Now let me start working on it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it would come back and say like, oh, like what platforms do you want to focus on? Are you going to make TikToks? Are you going to make a blog post? Like you can.
So in this entire process, you learn to prompt.
Yeah.
And what happens is that I ask you questions. I have this conversation with you. then I get exactly what you want. The AI converts that into its own prompt.
Yeah.
And run.
Super as detailed as it can to get there.
So I think really like the culture here at Rabbit since R1 are more designed for average user, non-techie people.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
And we believe that's a massive market.
Yeah.
And we believe that average people's basic requirements are more representing than like a little geek building a fancy games or whatever.
For sure, for sure. I think I think you said stuff like this before, but like, if you had to if you pick like a random person from like a tribe who's never used a computer, never been on the internet, and you put them in front of ChatGPT even or any AI tool, a computer, they wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But they could talk.
They can talk, yeah.
They could talk. They could talk to something to get a result. They could talk to ask a question.
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to do across all the
products. And to closing this conversation, I think what I learned by building all this is I'm observing a next generation human machine interaction shift.
Yeah.
If you think about this, you can actually draw a circle with a computer back in 1970s. Basic language, whatever.
Yeah.
Takes probably dozens of line code. And you just draw a circle, no problem. Shows up on CRT monitor.
Yeah.
And why the current generation of operating system like Windows or Macintosh are such a big deal because of this. It's graphic user interface.
Yeah.
Right? You move your cursor, you move your mouse, you move your cursor, and you draw a circle. That's it. That's so much easier because you don't need to understand what a computer language is.
Yeah.
You just intuitively look at the interface and draw the circle.
Yeah. It's removing one layer of abstraction.
So what about the next one? This one we're creating, we're all experiencing. If you think about Intern, this is the first time that human fundamentally gave up on all the control. Traditional way, as we're using the current software, we are in charge of planning. We're in charge of reasoning. We're in charge of researching, and we're in charge of execution, right? But tools like Intern or Manus, you don't need to do all of that. You just tell the system what you want.
Draw a circle.
And I don't know what about your most shocking case. My most shocking case that I tried over Intern are not something super fancy. I had a lot of fancy cases. It's a very simple case. It's a very, very simple case. Is the other day I was about to sign a contract. And signing a contract, a legal contract, there's like back and forth. Both lawyers and both parties share comments. So it ended up there's a right-line version of Microsoft documents with a lot of bunch of edits and comments and all that. Eventually, both lawyers says, okay, this is ready to sign. Let me prepare the clean version.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe I can just do this with Intern. So I uploaded the a support file upload, by the way.
Yeah.
So I just upload the Microsoft Word documents and I said to the Intern, give me a clean version in both docs and PDF. It took Intern 2 minutes. I got both. I was like, okay, great job, but no big deal. Until when I go click to the right bar to see the reasoning and the execution part, which is, like I explained, you can go here and see the details how they do it, right?
Yeah.
I personally believe that's the most amazing case I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Why? Because what happens is Intern's agent choose not to use the software itself, which is Microsoft Office or Adobe Acrobat for PDF and for Word. It basically programmed a converter and cleaning tool from scratch from Python.
Nice.
Within 2 minutes.
Wow. It was like, this is a much better way to do it. I'll just go ahead and do that.
So I learned a lot from this because if you think about modern software, they're all designed for human eyes to see human brain, to understand, and human hands to operate, navigate through the buttons.
Yeah.
I think software is dead. Because with agents, the agent does not necessarily need to see what we see.
Yeah.
Or use what we use.
Yeah.
They have a better way.
Yeah.
For themselves, they're just manipulating code from the code layer.
Yeah.
And you get the same results and faster. So I was extremely shocked by that. And I think you guys should think about this question too. Like for our future generation, like how this operating system slash human machine interaction slash software gonna evolve.
Yeah.
You just let agent do things, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are gonna have their own agent. A lot of people have their customized agent. It will be to the point we're gonna compare. I think this is still where we compare. You can do something they cannot, right? I mean, among all these 5 products, we can do this. Manus can do this. There are some other product cannot do this. Eventually, we'll come to the point that everyone can do this. Who's better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ultimately, everyone can do this, and who's better? End of the day, is that little final detail. Somewhere, someone call it. Some people will call it taste. Some people will call it culture. Is that thing that determines whether you choose this one or that one?
Yeah.
So we're not gonna be only rooted by. We're not gonna be only rooted for tech bros or a small group of people. We want to design this tool for everyone, and we want to make sure that we offer incentive value with the best result in the market. Period. If you take a step back, look at Rabbit. We're the first one to create the dedicated AI device, the Red Normal. Now OpenAI jumped into the game.
Yes.
The other company got acquired. So we're the first to do that. We're the first to offer the land playground, where computer use came after that, operator came after that. And now we have this general agent that there's another product called Manus, but we're better and we offer more value. So,
yep. And they don't have any hardware.
We don't have any hardware, for now.
So we have an advantage there.
So I think this justifies the unique value, not for the value of the company, but like the unique value of the team.
Yes.
Like we want to innovate and create, and we have a very focused path that we're leading on this on the innovation. A lot of other guys start building what we're building, and at the end of the day, let's compare. Run showdowns like this. You guys know I like to do the showdown.
Oh, we love it. We love a good showdown.
Yeah.
So the other thing I think is really powerful about Intern is you're able to create so much stuff that is just really personalized for you that otherwise would not exist.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like software or tools or whatever it might be can exist for groups. Like say you might well have a course that says like learn Japanese for 10-year-olds or 15-year-olds, but you're not going to have it for like learn for you.
No.
Right? Yeah. And I was thinking about this because I was doing Japanese lessons on Duolingo and it's trying to teach me all these words that I would never use. Yeah. Right? Like,
by the way,
I'm vegan. I don't need to know the Japanese word for pork. Or like,
exactly. By the way, Simon, Intern is multi-language.
Yeah.
You can type in whatever language you want and the output will be in whatever language you want. Yes. But absolutely, 100%. I think, it's pretty clear that we're running on this same prompt on all the same product. I was a little bit surprised by this, so I would love to have this one work as well so that I can show you the result. But I think it's pretty clear that all these products are quite distinguishable in a unique position that the other products are not fully covered.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
We see Cursor. Let's have a quick summary. So like we see Cursor are really focused on engineer programming.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I love Cursor. Then we see operator we're kind of like in an awkward position where it gave the same level as the O3.
Yeah.
Right? And even O3 build a whole zip file that I can get a website. The operator just awkwardly use a VNC. So that's definitely weird. And then we have O3.
Yep.
But even with the best reasoning model, you see the context. It's not nearly as good as Manus. Then we have Manus, which is more closer to Intern, but we got a better result, and we offer instantly good value then compared to pricing per tasks and all that. So I'm very excited to see where we can build the Intern to the next phase, and I'm very happy that we introduced the second product. Right,
Absolutely.
so a lot of people were dunking in the beginning. be like, "Oh, Rabbit is a scam. How can you survive if you don't charge subscription?" And guess what? The guy who charged subscription, the company who charged insanely amount of subscription, ended up closing and getting acquired.
Yeah.
We're never gonna charge subscription on our one. Then a lot of people dunking on us. Oh, they're gonna die because there's if they keep that price, they're gonna die. There's no way to make money. Well, this is the time.
I mean, I think it's just like, people assume you make a product and that's like the only thing
No,
you're going to make.
I think okay. This is funny because I don't understand why we got dunked so much, and a lot of people in the early days that they feel this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
And we obviously had a very rough R1 first version release. We patched over 30 plus OTAs. And a lot of people say, hey, wait until Apple do this and Gemini do this. And now what's about Apple Intelligence, right? So I saw a comment today on Discord. They're like, oh, now you're going to charge subscriptions. Are you going to keep the promise? And I replied, I said, hey, let me be clear. We said R1 never charged subscription. We kept the promise, never going to charge the subscription. Intern is our second product. Who's really not keeping the promise is I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I saw Apple Intelligence billboard all over the place.
Yeah.
And I got 30% of it.
Yeah.
Not even 30% of it here.
Yeah.
Right. So, a lot of people said, okay, RIP Rabbit when Apple dropped this and Google dropped that. I think again, R1 has been improved drastically.
Yeah.
That it is still unique in its form factor, in its value, in its culture, in its design. That we have a lot of diehard fans that are using that every day.
Yeah.
When you compare it to what your phone can offer, this whole AI is moving so fast. What we really believe for the next pace is systems like Intern. That's why we separate this as a second product because it's just too important.
Yeah.
And I think in the future, once we bring all this together, then we're very close to her, very very close to her, in the movie. Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but but we're very close to have like a real conversation based operating system that not only you can chat, ask questions, but you can actually do tasks.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I mean, right? So, from Rabbit perspective, I later understand it's not that a lot of people hating us. I don't think any sane person this year still think we're a scam.
No.
Cause for R1, we're the cheapest in the category, $199. We offer no subscription. And we're matching Humane AIP in 30 days free return.
Yeah.
Right? And we still doesn't charge subscription.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, there's not a lot of. I don't really see what people would compare us to in the market now, because the only other AI hardware that I've seen is like stuff that does one thing and charges a subscription.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's my point. I don't think any sane person this year are still using the scam term on us, which is extremely unfair. But then I later realized there's a lot of people that hate us. That's fine. They either want us to success or want us to fail.
Yeah.
And it's that tremendous amount of emotion converts to hate.
Yeah.
I understand. But a lot of these happens on the cyber world. If I go out to people, talk to real users, I got extremely good feedbacks. So now I think I'm more, adaptive to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people hate us. A lot of people want to see Rabbit fail. But I guess the only way to prove that is stick around and keep shipping.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's been a crazy year, but this is an extremely young company. It's only 1 year.
There we are. One shot Intern versus bunch of stuff. I think it's pretty clear how well we performed in comparison to all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Peace.
See you next time.
Bye. That's great.